What's that little twist like you got in your hair? Lee,
Yo,
you twisted your hair or something? What's going on over there?
no, no. I was just playing. I was playing with it. You know what I realized though? It's. I took a picture from the top where bird's eye view. It now go run. It's like a bird's nest on the top.
What,
What are you like? Are you balding?
Yeah, I definitely am, man. It broke my heart, man. You know what? I can visualize what I'm gonna look like with dreads. It's gonna be down here. I'm gonna dye them ginger as well. Them type of man there.
Who's playing
what, can you hear that?
Yes, we can hear that. We can 100% hear that.
All right, cool.
All right. Can anyone confirm that we are actually live? Are we live on YouTube right now?
Can I go in there?
Can someone confirm or deny these allegations?
It come up on my thing that we're live.
But... Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Hold on one second.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, that's fine.
Watching.
Dope. All right, let's start. What's going on, people? Welcome to another live episode of Cut the Chat. Full team in the building. I want to say salute to everybody that locked in last week. Massive shout out to Tunde. Dropped a lot of gems on us. Some people disagreed with some of the things he said. I mean, and that's everyone's prerogative. It's all good. That's what we're here for. It's all about conversation. It's about having different points of views and different opinions. And we got another episode for you guys tonight. You know what? Really want the chat room crew to really, I think they really should get involved in the conversation tonight. So get involved, share the link with your peoples, and let's get to it. What's going on, lads? How are you lot?
I'm not too bad, man. What's tonight's show called?
It's called Cut the Chat.
But it got a pussy. We're gonna name it Big Man Feeling Up Young Things.
No, we're not gonna call it that. Definitely
I'm
not.
Joking. Listen. I'm joking.
We're definitely
not. This is why I don't do live shows, because I'm to the good old days when you could say something rogue. Obviously, Femi would say the most rogue things, and we edit it. What happened to them days, man?
I'm just so confused.
Look at Femi's face.
I gave you a warning before we started the show. And we're like 30 seconds in, and you want to open with that. That's what you want to open with. That's what you want to. That's what you want to open with. Yeah, that's what you leave yourself wants to open with.
It's a very, very We're gonna have some serious topics about certain man.
No, we're not.
And woman.
It's not even really about that.
Go on. What is it about, really?
In my opinion, this is what I think the conversation. Like, for those that don't know, this weekend, maybe over the last 3 or 4 days, there's been a lot of conversation on Twitter. In my opinion, this is what I think. Who's got their YouTube on? Turn off.
Oh, all right.
There's been a lot of conversation on Twitter in regards to females talking about times when they felt unsafe or uncomfortable or been put in dangerous situations with guys of the opposite sex. Actually, a woman actually of the same sex, like just times when they felt uncomfortable, or like the ultimate violation, which I don't even like to use the word, but that word. And some of it has come from allegations against people that are in the industry, popular bloggers, DJs, presenters, artists. And without like us sitting here and like going through case by case by case, that doesn't even make any sense.
There's some cases we have to go through though.
No, 100%. But I think the broader conversation is about consent. I think I've heard like, because we're older, we're of the older generation. And I've heard like people of our generation being like, yeah, man, them young brothers are da-da-da-da-da. But we have to really be honest and talk about some of the things we may have seen in clubs when we were coming up that no one really talks about, the way that certain man in your school went on, like there was this culture of like running trick, like all of these things, yeah, are things that have contributed to what we have today. And it's only now that we're like, people are being open enough to talk about the various scenarios they've been through and really call people out. But back in the day, let's be honest, like some of these things happened and no one wasn't saying shit. And and because no one wasn't saying nothing, it was kind of the norm. And no one was saying, bruv, don't do that. You can't do that. Like, I'll openly like.
Right.
So
All
go
right.
on.
So who do you think should have said something? Because look at it like this, yeah. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about Mandem? Or are we talking about people in the industry?
We're talking about man them. We're just talking
Just
about man
anyone in general, innit?
Well, look, because there's a difference between Mandem and people in the industry.
No, there
Yeah.
ain't.
There's no
I'm gonna
different.
tell you-
Scrup
I'm
is
gonna-
scrup.
I'm going to tell you why there's a difference.
Why is
Because
that, bro?
if we're Mandem, yeah, and we are all of similar age with similar thought process and pattern, yeah, then it's highly unlikely that any of us are going to pull any of us up. The industry, there's management, there's people of a higher level that know better, and so that's why I wanted to find out: are we
But-
differentiating?
Yeah, but
between
Let me.
people and management?
but when you say about industry, yeah, when certain men are doing their thing, certain men don't want to pull up, man, because they're high. Like you might think I can't really tell man what to do.
No,
That's my point. That's exactly.
I don't think that's got anything to do with it. I'm saying.
No,
I'm saying. No, let me just quickly jump in.
No.
I'm saying some of this behavior is from young. What I'm saying is when you're
Of course.
wait. When you're like 16, 17 and you go to your first Napa holiday and you're grabbing up girls in a club and then you get to 24 and you get signed and you get money. Why do you think that behavior is going to stop? It's got nothing to do with industry. You just are how you are.
Ace, what I'm saying to you is if us four behave like that, none of us can police each other because we all think the same. That's
Right.
my point.
Okay.
Whereas the industry, you understand, or us as elders, we now know better. There's people in the industry from day one. As Lee said, they know better, but no one's look at R. Kelly. No one wanted their check cancelled. No one wanted their money cancelled. So that's all I was trying to do from the start, trying to work out, you understand? And in regards to Mandem, like if there's no one who's of a level to be able to say, yo, that's wrong, that's right, then you're not going to learn nothing from anyone or be told anything different.
Let's have it right. Me and Ace were just saying before, yeah, there was times when growing up, like pinching a girl's bum in a rave. That to be honest with you, that was never my game. But I've been around a man and he's done it and it made it look like it was me. And I'm like, nah, bro, don't do that. But I was more worried about him making it look like me because I just think I was more focused on myself. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, don't make it look like it's me. Do you get what I'm saying? Not regarding what he's doing. It's quite disrespectful because the response from the girl was never really. But it is when you really think about it, it is actually, you know, he's in her space. He's disrespecting her space. Do you get what I'm saying? But I never thought it was a big deal. I never thought grabbing someone's breasts now. That to me just wild.
Lee,
Go on.
that is all part of the problem. You know, like even pinching a girl's bum needs to be taught that that's a big deal.
100%.
But I feel like within Black British culture, to a certain extent, it's not taught as being a big deal at the moment. Like, do you know what I mean? There's almost it's what I say all the time, right? It's almost like there's certain things that are inappropriate that we are forgivable of within the Black community, and we need to start correcting those things. And this is 100%. One of them. Like those like pinching bums, or you just cheekily pinch the girl's bum. No, it's not cheeky, bro.
It's nasty.
It's like invading a girl's privacy. Because if that was your daughter, or that was your wife or your girlfriend, and someone randomly pinched her bum, you wouldn't be cool with it.
Hey, who used to go like ministry?
Yeah.
About 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Ministry of Sound. So you know there was like the archway in front by the toilets. And like by the girls' toilets. But there's a booth in front of it, but there's like an archway, but it's really dark. So girls have to walk through there to get to the toilets. And there was just them just standing there violating. And it used to make me so uncomfortable. And there was a couple of times when I was like, nah, that's just disgusting. And sometimes I would tell bouncers and they wouldn't do anything about it. And it was almost like it was just like
accepted.
It was like you knew what was going to happen if you walked through that way to get to the toilets. It's nasty.
I had this conversation in the barbershop a couple of years ago when we was in the old barbershop. So that's a good few years ago. And there's guys that are walking around today, still young enough to rave, and they they put it down as being part of the clubbing life,
Culture.
like the clubbing culture. Like I said to them, so what? Do you think it's okay? They're like, yeah, it's just part and parcel. So then I'm like, so what happens if your little sister come home and said, yeah, this is what happened? They blatantly said it's part of the clubbing culture. Like you would just get used to it or you would just get over it. And now, the fact that it didn't even touch a nerve when they're looking at it like their sister or direct relative, female relative, there's just some people around that are just like, they believe that this is how it is. That's
Can I ask you something? If you was walking through the rave, yeah, and a girl pinched your bum, would you switch?
No.
You see. Do you remember? Did I tell you that story about when I went to Cardiff?
No.
And someone pinched Aisha's bum outside when we was walking into the club, bruv.
What?
Listen. My you know my solicitor brethren, he was there, bruv. Man tried
Let's
to
get
rock.
it. First things first. Was he hench?
I think there was 2 or 3 of them. So look. This is the thing, yeah.
And then things have to slide under the radar. Then
the hench thing is irrelevant. Like there's just certain things that's just a no-no, bro. Like it's a no-no. Forget size, because we've even had that conversation in the barbershop, and even just amongst, I think we had it on Cut the Chat a few times. Like, you know, if someone stuck it on your missus and there's more of them than you, what are you doing? Fam, if I got to hold licks, I've got to hold licks, bro. But you're not doing that and getting away with it, bro. It's long.
So about you hold licks and you carries on causing up your missus.
Bro, what? So I'd rather that than he does what, and I'm supposed to look at my missus tomorrow, all fine with no bruising. Nah, you're mad. Nah. You're mad. It can't happen.
Do you know what? I'll be
in that situation.
Huh?
What did you do?
With what? With the
What
youth?
happened in Cardiff?
Bro, I went to move to the youth and his brethren jumped in. But the thing is, when they jumped in, they just blocked me from the youth. They just blocked me from the youth, and then they started apologizing for the youth. Yeah. They started apologizing for the youth. Now, at this point now, my man's over there, so I now can't get to him. But I'm just switching. I'm like, no, he needs to fucking apologize. You dumb. So with all of that, he's apologized and apologized again, and then Dave apologized. But now, my breaking that I'm with, he's just mad. But somebody said something somewhere else. It was just wild. But it was just one of it. But the thing is, what got to me is I kind of saw it coming, because I saw him looking at her. Like as he's walking towards her, I'm seeing him looking at her. I'm like, and you know when in your head you say something like, bro, don't do that. And then he does it. And he's like, you're kidding me. But there's no way on God's earth that I can let anyone violate a female that I know like that. No way. And say what? And do what? Bruv, I've got some chauvinistic views here, and one of them is man was put on this planet to protect females, because like
okay, but you say that, yeah. So is it only girls that you know that are safe around you in a club? So for instance, like I can honestly say I've been DJing in the booth and watched a guy grab a girl's bottom, and obviously I haven't stopped the music, I ain't said nothing. But if it was like one of my friends, then yes, of course I would say something. And I think that's where the problem is. Like it should be a rule for everyone. It should not go on like that. We can't. It just can't be that.
You're a different individual now. You understand? I'm very sure that didn't happen in your last rape.
Oh hell no. Lee's birthday party was. I'm joking. I'm joking.
What?
I'm joking.
Like, you're a different person right now. So, and you know better now. Do you know what I mean? And go on.
What's going on? The main chat in the group is, if a girl grabbed your things, would you be cool with it?
At my age now, as a big man now, it is a disrespect. But I think in my younger days, I don't think I would see it as being cheeky, if I'm honest. And it is I'm just being honest.
Grab your things.
In a club,
but when I'm thinking of grabbing things, I don't think of like grabbing it to hurt. I'm grabbing it to like get my attention, kind of thing. And I don't know. I'm just being honest with you. I'm being honest.
Get your attention, Lee. I'm confused.
Like you know what it is like. You know, like if a guy grabbing a girl's ass, I can only imagine it. He's not doing it like I'm just saying, I'm just saying, you know, this sounds mad, but I'm thinking to myself, he's doing it just to get her attention, but not actually trying to violate hard.
Because
You get what
they're
I'm saying?
lowly, bro.
Even though,
Because they're
no, you're
low.
right. You can say hello. You can say hello. But what I'm saying to you is, if a girl's grabbing your things, is she gonna yank it down hard? Because that is.
Femi, this is my view on that. Yeah. So, what girls do to me, yeah, and even similar with Ace, yeah. People pull off Ace's hat and try to wear Ace's hat.
Oh,
What-
that
Yeah,
makes
I
me
get
so
more. I
angry.
get more annoyed with
Yeah.
that, if I'm honest.
What
my
girls do with
God.
me, yeah, is they would touch my hair or they will pull my hair or whatever. Yeah. Now, that's just a violation because you don't know me. I don't know you like that. Don't touch my hair. I don't know you like that. But going back to what Lee's saying, I just thought about this just now. Do you know why it's a violation? But do you know why I don't think it would bother me if a girl's touched my things in a club? Because I don't see that girl
Getting
as a
peace.
no, I don't see that girl as a physical threat. Do you know what I mean? I don't see that girl as a physical threat. I don't see her as, you understand what I'm saying? So for me,
Yeah.
it's a violation, and I'm not saying it's not a violation, but because in my head, I'll just walk past like, are you a dickhead? But I know you can't physically do nothing for me. So I'm not even.
What if she was bigger than you?
Say it again.
What if she was bigger than you?
But then I'll call you in it. No, you know what I mean? Like, I just, because I'm not looking at it as you're a physical threat, but it is still a violation. But I think
let me give you a scenario, yeah, because what it is, I don't want to make jokes because this is actually a serious topic, and as much as sometimes, you know, my mouth can run wild. Say for example, you were single, yeah, and the girl that grabbed your things, you was attracted to. Would you be entertaining a conversation after that though?
yeah, well, it's different, isn't it? Like, okay. This is my thing. Ace, you're shaking your head, right? Understand this, yeah. Understand this. You see guys that move to girls by whistling, yeah?
Mm.
You see guys that move to girls by saying, yo, my size. You see guys that move to girls by touching their bum or doing whatever. Do you know there's a few times that it's worked, which is why they continue to do it? Yeah? Which is why, like, averages. If I go out and I move to 10 girls, at least one of them I should get through. You understand? There's a lot of averages.
Shall I tell you why this is flawed? Because this is why. This is why groupies get violated. Because the artist thinks, well, they're here for me. They've come to my show. They must fancy me. So I can have whatever I want.
So it's guaranteed. So they reckon it's guaranteed.
So that's why it can't be like, it doesn't matter if there's attraction or not. Actually, it doesn't matter. No one's asked anybody to touch anyone.
Bruv, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying this is how people think. People think. I went out last night and I touched 10 girls' bums. Yeah. I touched 10 girls' bums. Only one of them turned and pushed up. No, two of them turned and pushed up their face. Two of them turned and looked at me up and down and gave me a little smirk. Yeah.
One of them's going to have it, is what you're saying.
More than one of them's probably going to have it. And that's what I'm saying. That's why man think that they can do that, because every time they do it, a couple people have it. Whereas my point is, if they do it and everyone doesn't have it, everyone kicks up a fuss, DJ locks off the music, turn the light on, single that brother out there, security, get my man out of the dance. You think anyone's going to do it again? What, you think man wants that kind of embarrassment? Nah, bro. And that's what I'm saying. People do things that they know they can get away with. People do things that they have gotten away with.
No, but do you know what, D? The main thing that people are throwing up in a group, no matter who, whether they're a physical threat and whether they're trying their chance, no matter what it is, it's like no one should be entitled to physically touch anyone.
And no one's saying
without permission.
No one's saying they are entitled, but in this scenario that we're talking about right now, we're talking about how can this stop? Yeah, it's not the workplace. Yeah, where it's brightly lit. You understand? A lot of this stuff happens when only the person and the female knows. It's in the dark. It's in the corners. You understand what I'm saying? It's not in a bright restaurant. You understand what I'm saying? So really and truly, it's how do we? No one's saying it's okay. Of course, it's not okay. Whether it's female to a male or male to a female. But as Ace quite rightly said there, and as I said, he was a different person. Like, you've seen it happen. We all know security guards that now I've got kids. 20 years ago, the security guards that I still know, that they didn't have no kids. They were probably in the clubs trying to draw girls as well. So they weren't thinking about protecting the public and all of that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I hear you, and I agree with you, but you know, slightly kind of deviating. I've got a daughter. Acey's got a daughter. The conversation I have with my daughter is going to be very different to the conversation you have with your son, Ace, and your son, Femi.
Yeah.
Like the conversation I have with my daughter, and even females around me. Like Ace, I told you that story when I thought something happened to Aisha, shouldn't it? When she went.
Man, ran up to the show.
Listen, bruv, I'm halfway through my meal from my dinner, and she's just not answering the phone. But when I spoke to her earlier, she's already said to me that there was a couple funny people around. All I've said to myself is, how can I live with myself if I thought, let me go and handle this, and didn't, because I'm finishing my dinner? Bruv, I put my dinner aside, I put the bat in the car, and I was blowing down the, I was so mad, yeah, and so hyped that when I finally got through to her and she was cool, I was mad. I couldn't even talk to her. I just had to go home. I just had to, but that, I think for me, that was like the fear of something happening to her. You know what I mean? Like the conversations that I've had with my niece, my daughter, are going to be different. And I just have to let them know, please don't be in that environment. As you don't be, you know what it is? There's nothing wrong with being a groupie, but right now, don't be a groupie. Don't get in that car with them guys.
There's nothing wrong with being a groupie, but
There's
right
a lot
now,
wrong with being a groupie.
but don't be a groupie. It's just not cool.
You want to be a groupie. You want to be a groupie, but don't go backstage. Don't go into the chain. Don't get in the car. Don't go back to the hotel room, because the reality is, I can't do nothing then. I can't do nothing after the fact. I can't. Stay there and phone me. Stay in the club, phone me. I'll come pick you up, or someone will come and pick you up, or whatever. But like, so I think it's a lot of teaching for young boys, and I'm saying young boys of your children's age. Forget when they get to teens, it's too late. They've seen certain things on videos and films and music videos and all of that kind of stuff. It's this age now before puberty is hit.
I think it's definitely a conversation that you need to be having with your children, no matter their sexuality, no matter their gender, about, the fact that, you have to respect people's physical space, and the fact that, people should respect your physical space as well. And so if that's, but because, you read about, these cases where these kids have gone to church schools and they've been touched by priests and stuff like that. And or even in football, like where football coaches have touched boys and all of that stuff, but they don't say anything about it because it's been normalized in that space. And also they don't have those conversations. They've not been told by their parents from very young that if somebody touches you physically, you need to report it to an adult. And so
I don't know. Yeah, go on. Sorry, for him. Go on.
I feel like we need to start teaching that from young.
Do you think though, from where we came from, our parents would to sit us down and say, like, right, if someone touches you, I don't think I needed to be told that.
No, but Lee, it's a different time. You say that, but you see cases on. There was a Chelsea football coach. Yeah. It wasn't like hundreds of years ago,
Yeah, I know. I did hear that, but I just don't know. I think if someone ever tried to make a pass at me, I'd have to tell my parents. Like when I was younger, if I ever felt like that's dodgy, I would have had to say something. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe everyone's different, but
Lee, you're saying that from the standpoint of having two parents, maybe having two parents that actually.
No, but they never. Look, I'll be honest with you. My dad, we never had conversations like. We never talked like that. You know what I'm saying? We have a good relationship now, but never had a conversation like that. It was, I was more probably tell my mum if I'm honest, and be shocked that she's gonna tell my dad because my dad has to get involved. It's one of those ones where you tell your mum something, but if dad hears, he's looking to lick someone down now. I just think I don't even want that kind of drama. Do you get what I'm saying? If dad has to know, it's gonna be a wrap. Everybody's dead. Everybody.
Yeah, so imagine people that have got that mentality, yeah, and they're like, I don't want my parents to know because they're gonna go lick someone down, and they just don't say nothing for the rest of their life.
Real talk, but that's probably what could have happened as well. Yeah, no, 100%, 100%.
You as a parent, yeah, you need to let your children know your job is to protect them, and you forever have their best interest at heart. Don't ever be scared to tell me something, especially in trying to protect somebody else. It don't work like that. And however you put that across, you got to put that across. You have to. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to, bro. You know, and this is the thing as well. So look, so obviously everybody knows my daughter's on the other side of the world. So the information that I'm hearing about anything is always going to be delayed. It's always going to be 12, 24, maybe longer than that. Do you know what I mean? By the time I hear certain things, good and bad. But in all of the times that I've been there, I've had to think about the people I have around me and set up a social network that she can rely on if I'm there. Bro, you call me, all I'm going to do is put the phone down and call somebody else that's over there. So in all the times that I've gone there, I've made sure that if I'm out, she's out with me. If I'm out with Chirag, she's out with Chirag. We're out with Jasmine or Varushka and all of these people. So doesn't matter where you are in the city, if something goes wrong and she's got all of their numbers, phone one of them. They all drive, they all know various different people in the city and whatever else. Like I'm not there. So I've had to make sure that when I'm not there, you know that you're cool. And it might even be a physical danger thing, but you might not always want to talk to your parents. So I've just had to have even certain females around her. Like even over here, April's relationship with Ash is mad. There's times where she's told me that she's had a conversation with April. I'm like, I ain't spoken to this girl for like all a week. How are you? Do you know what I mean? But I love that and I need that. And she has that here and she has that over there. And she has to have it over there because, as I said, because I'm not there, and even if I was there, you still need to know that there's people around me that you can call that aren't your mum, not your dad, not a direct blood relative, but you can call and have this conversation before it then gets to your parents. Do you know what I mean? Because your parents always have to know, but boy, sometimes they need other people to, and I think as adults, as parents, we need to make sure that those people are put in place just for that, just in case. Like, because I can't be hearing this happened and I had no one to phone or had no one to go to or no one answered the phone, and I can't. That would just break me.
Yeah,
that would break me.
It's even like with everything that's been going on over the last couple of days. Like I think about, imagine you've got a close female friend, and the way you found out that she was sexually assaulted was on Twitter.
Yeah,
like that's mad. Like, fam, you never came to, like, do you know what I'm saying?
You should have said something before you went and pull it out there like that.
No, it's like, if that's the way that she felt like she needed to pull it out there, that's fine. But it's more so like, wow, I didn't even know this, and like and I'm finding out this way. But also, I don't want to. I don't feel like, I get it. Like, we want to protect our children, we want to protect the females in our lives. But I don't necessarily think that's the conversation. I just feel like we need to really get to like how we just stop this happening. Like, why are we like feeling like we all need to be superheroes and save? Like, why does it even need to get to that? Like, how do we stop this?
Maybe, you know what? I think it comes down to, like, I know it can get quite serious, because, for example, if I'm in a club and a man pinches a girl's bum, and it's nothing to do with me, do I go and say something to now
That's
be in a drama with this guy? This girl could have walked off, not thought anything of it, not even felt that violated, or she could have felt violated. Say for example, she does feel violated. Now me and this guy now are rocking it out. Do you get what I'm saying? Over something that he done. But I do think it's our duty to pull up certain people when you see them acting a certain way, to say, yo, big man, that's louder. you know what I'm saying? And there's you know, there could be people around in your clique. Like I've been around and I've seen certain man say, right, oh, look at that thing. Or I've been in a car, and man, we look at that thing, and it's like, right, I don't that nah, what do you mean? Do you get what I'm saying? Especially in my younger days. Or I've seen situations where a man would roll down the window, pss, 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 hey, come here, and the guy will come over, and you're like, right.
That's not violated, though, is it? Let's
Is
talk
it?
about
Is
that.
it?
Let's talk about that. Like,
Is that a violation though?
I don't know if that's a violation. Like, she didn't have to come over. She didn't want to come over.
That's not a violation. That's, you know what, I've always said this, yeah. You know when you try and move to girls, yeah, and you might move to a girl at the bus stop, she's like, why are you trying to chat to me? I'm just trying to get on the bus. Or you move to a girl in Tesco's, why are you chatting to me? I'm trying to do my shopping. Or you move to a girl on a school run, why are you chatting to me? I'm trying to take my, like, you know, like, I'm just trying to have a conversation with you to know when I can chat to you. Like, trying to chat to a girl is not a violation in any, I don't think, in any way, shape, or form. Do you know what I mean? Like, girls aren't walking around with a sign on their head saying, I'm available to be spoken to. Bruv, you just got to shoot your shot, but you've just got to shoot it in the right way.
Don't touch them.
Huh?
And don't touch them.
Don't touch them. Fam, right now in quarantine, bruv, you got to come with a mask and the
2 meters away. Yeah.
You got to make it, do you know what I mean?
Shout out to Leon in the group. I see him. He said there needs to be more pressure on security to stop these things happening in clubs.
Absolutely.
I agree, man. Like I said, I used to like stand in the booth at Ministry and where the booth is right by this kind of really dark archway that I was talking about. And I just saw it happening and security weren't doing a damn thing. And I think you said it, Damien, like sometimes security are trying to move up gal as well.
Let's not let's be real though. Certain times, especially certain clubs you go to, security, they just come out of jail for doing a 10 for armed robbery. Their man are more thuggish than anyone else, you know, black. These man are proper old school roadman, being shot 12 times. You get what I'm saying? You think that man don't want the smoke? That man don't want the smoke. That man is just there to do what you're trying to do.
You know what it is as well, Ace? I think furthering on from the security thing, I think clubs need to do more and be more vigilant with it. Because right now, you can't get into a club without your photo ID. And I'm going to tell you where I'm going. So there's a restaurant called Dans Le Noir. It's dining in the dark. It's absolutely pitch black. My point is, there's a sign on the wall in the restaurant that says, there's CCTV being recorded for your safety. If I walked into a club, or there was a sign various places in the club, in the toilets, when you walk into the club, whatever, saying CCTV is in operation to protect to protect the safety of our female club goers or whatever, just spelling it out, you understand? Maybe that could have an impact. Reading something before I go in the club saying that I'm being recorded and all things are caught on camera, whether it be, you know, physical assaults on women, and even just having a list of it just quickly, because some guys, as we've said at the beginning of this, really don't know. Like having a list in the club as you pay your money, that's there and dotted around in the toilet. You know, when you go to certain toilets and they got them little squares in front of the urinals for advertising, having a list right there of what is sexual assault, touching a girl without her consent, pinching her bum without her consent, all of that.
No,
So
Damon, they should know before they get drunk in a club. It's too late.
And if you, I feel like girls should be able.
The club shouldn't have that.
No, they should definitely have that, but you should know. Yeah.
Yes, they should know before, but it shouldn't be the DJ's responsibility. It shouldn't be me as a club goer's responsibility. Because as Lee quite rightly said, as a man, yeah, I now am in passer with them guys over there or that guy over there because you touched the girl's bum and she didn't like it, and I'm now defending it for her. Now I'm in passer. My missus and all of our people are in some next madness. Whereas really and truly, there should be enough insecurity in the dance to handle that. And the clubs should do something about it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like I was going to say earlier, if you keep on going to these clubs and these things are happening to you, you're going to the wrong club. Yeah, you're going to the wrong club. But I think the clubs that we go to of
I don't
our age
agree.
may not even be our age, just our circle of people. Because I don't think I've gone to a club in recent years that hasn't been put on by either you, Ace, or you, Femi, or all of us.
You know, I want to agree with you, yeah, but you know, Io just said it. More time when guys get called out on these things, their excuse is I was drunk. Like I've been at a family function, and a friend, a friend, no, a cousin, no, a friend of a cousin, or you know, like when a friend's friend brings someone, and then and that guy comes and he kind of starts violating, and he ended up getting rushed by the whole family. But my point is, yeah, but
Standard.
no, but my point is,
in my
like,
yard and do them things there. Like,
you can't say that they're going to the wrong clubs, because like it just takes one person to violate, bro. It just takes one.
Ace, I didn't say it happens once. I said if you keep on going to this club and it's happening, take yourself out of that equation, take yourself out of that situation.
Basically, like Damon's argument to a certain extent, yeah, is that actually don't put yourself in places where you know you'd be in danger.
Let's not do that. I don't think we can say that.
No, I'm not saying we shouldn't say. I'm not saying we should say that, because your argument could be like, oh yeah, you people should be free to go wherever they want, which is true. But at the same time, I suppose the point Damon's trying to make is that actually, like, if you've been somewhere once and you were endangered and no one really took any notice, you told security, they didn't do anything, like, you shouldn't go back there again.
Absolutely.
I don't agree, man.
Yeah, but when it comes to stuff like, say, touching the bum, yeah, this is me being honest. Sometimes you could think that, you know, if someone touches a female's bum, you might find that funny. Whereas they grab someone's breast, you might think, no, you're taking a piss. It's like people don't realize.
But
right?
Lee,
they don't realize it.
Lee,
you know what I'm saying? Go on.
That's people. I'm talking about you. Yeah. All right, Ace, look at it like this.
Yeah.
Look at it like this. There's a female that you know, and she keeps on going to a club in Camden. And every time she goes there, something pops off. We're not talking about something pops off. Always a fun. Rave always gets locked off. At some point, are you not going to say to her, why do you keep on going to that rave?
100%, 100%.
Now, if she keeps on going to a rave, and the type of people that are in the rave are the people that have no respect for her physical being, her space, have no respect for that. The bouncers aren't doing nothing. Are you going to tell her, stop going to that club? Or
Definitely.
are you going to go with her to the club and start licking down every man there?
No, I'm just going to say, well, you shouldn't. You're right. I'm going to say, well, maybe you should stop. You shouldn't go there. But at the same time, she should still feel like she can go there, is my point. Like, we're just talking about clubbing. We just read a story about a girl that was in a tracksuit and was at work in a studio and a violation happened. Like, it's not just raving, bruv. This is happening everywhere.
But you know what though? You say that she should have the rights, yeah. But at the same time, common sense should prevail. Like, I knew back in the day, like going clubs like Palace Pavilion and Chimes, I knew what I was walking into when I'm going there. I can't go there and things kick off and it gets picky, and then I say, well, I have the right to go there because I like the music. You kind of know, like, if
this is making me uncomfortable.
And it's no, but if it's got dramatic in them type of places, you don't go there. Like you don't put yourself in that situation. Do you get what I'm saying? If it's happened to you before, especially.
All I'm saying, yeah, is look, at no point am I putting the blame on any female whatsoever.
That's what it sounds like.
No, what I'm
you know what me. The blame is on the guys. The blame is definitely on the guys, obviously.
But sometimes, yeah, this is my thing. Prevention is better than cure. That's, bruv. As I said before, like,
quickly, Lala, if you're listening, send me. Can I send you the Zoom link? Do your makeup. No, I shouldn't even say that. That's really sexist, isn't it? Like, you might not. She might have a head tie on or something.
Scared to say anything now.
You know what I'm saying? Lala, we want you to join the conversation. If you're about, I'm going to send you the Zoom link now. Sorry, continue, Damon.
Yeah, look. At some point, yeah. Don't get it twisted. If something ever happens, I'm never gonna be like, why was you there? Yeah, because we've gone beyond that. But what I'm saying to you is, if you know that there's that place over there that things happen that you don't like, stop going there. Life isn't as fair as you can go anywhere you want. We was out marching 2 weeks ago for that, for Black Lives Matter. because man's still getting killed like a couple days ago. Like, the world's not fair, bro. That's the reality.
There
Like,
are predators out there, whether you like it or not. In it, basically, there are predators out there.
bro. You're not
Everywhere.
gonna find me in America because of that. Because I know it's not fair. You're not gonna find me living in America as a black man. No way. But look,
Amen. I'll
So
be real.
what?
Amen.
So Ace, go on.
People should be able to touch wherever they want to touch. It's on society to make it safe for everyone. It's like saying, yeah, it's like
They should
saying
be able to do what? They should be able to say that again.
to go to wherever they want to go.
And
I'm not
what-
saying they can't.
all right. If that's the case, yeah. Say for example, you're right. They should be able to. But if you had a daughter that was 16, 17 years old, yeah, and she was going to a place and she was wearing a mini skirt and a top, you would tell her, "I don't want you going out in that." Why not? Because why shouldn't she be able to wear what she wants to wear when she goes to the rave?
Yeah, but that's my daughter. I am a parent. I can.
But
Like,
say
when
she
I
says
am
to you,
in-
my friends are going, I feel safe going. What's the problem? Why would you then
Yeah, but
question it?
this is the thing. I'm a parent, so then it's a different relationship, right? It's like.
But what is your worry as a parent? What is your worry as a parent?
First of all, I wouldn't even let my daughter go outside in a short skirt. Period.
But
that's
what
me
is your
as a
worry?
parent.
What's your worry though?
But that's me as a parent. That's just me as a parent, Lee. And you get what I'm saying? It's not even about me worrying. It's about actually. It's about. That's what I stand for. Like, that's like, why you dress like that? That's just
Right.
my
But
culture.
say she says to you, I want to go out that's what we all do. We all go dressed.
Yeah, but they're not all my children.
Yeah, but she's her own person, no?
No, my child is my child until they're not my child anymore.
Femi, answer Femi, answer.
I don't think your child will ever stop being your child though. I don't think.
No, but
at
Lee,
any
you're
age-
not listening to me. If my child, was dressed in a way that I felt was inappropriate, I wouldn't allow that for my children, because ultimately that's for me. That child, I've been put in charge of that child by God, right? So there's certain restrictions. Like, my children, sometimes they say to me, "Oh, why can't I do that?" And I say to them, "Because you can't." But why? Because I told you can't. Because I'm your parent.
Right. No. Listen, I'm just throwing it out there because
I'm not a parent where I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're my kids. You could do whatever you." My kids can argue, we can debate, I can explain to them. But sometimes, actually, I say to them, I turn around to them, you know what? I don't even have to explain. Why am I explaining to you? I don't have to explain to you.
So what about Femi scenario? She comes around, she's 21, and she's going out, and she's like, "I'm going out now, rare with my friends." And you look at what you're wearing, and you think, "Well, you know what? Would you still question it? Would you still have something to say about it?"
Because they're still my child and they still live in my house.
No, but say she don't live in your house. She's at
Ultimately,
university.
She's
at university.
I will always say something because that person is my child.
But you said until she's not my child. You said my child's going to be my child.
I didn't say until you become
We're
an
going
adult.
way off the point.
No, Lee,
We're
I didn't say
going
until
way
you
off
become
the
an
point.
adult. I say for as long as I'm alive,
Yeah.
I'm your parent.
Mm.
And you don't stop being my child for as long as I'm alive.
Fair play.
And so I'm not gonna sit there and watch you do stuff that I don't agree with without saying anything. Otherwise, I'm not your parent. I'm irresponsible.
Ace is right. We have gone off topic.
We've gone way off the point.
Lala, what on?
What's going on? You all right?
Are you enjoying the conversation today?
Huh?
Are you enjoying the conversation?
Yeah, listen, I only logged in about 5 minutes ago, but I know obviously what you guys are speaking about. So I caught some of it. I think I caught when Damon was talking about preventative measures. Is that right?
Yes. I think the conversation started about consent, and I think we've had quite a deep dive about club culture and the fact that as youths we've seen people in clubs grabbing bottoms and security not doing nothing. Me as a DJ, I've seen that happen from the booth, and although I've been uncomfortable, I haven't said anything, and it's like almost part and parcel of club culture to just grab women. And it's like, how do we stop this? I don't know if it still goes on today. I haven't seen it myself, but like no one was telling us when growing up, yo, you can't do that. So that's kind of where we started, and it's kind of got into It's got into how we can stop this, how we can protect women. There's a lot of different things we've touched on.
Right, you know what really needs to happen, because I've been like looking at the comments on social media and stuff like that, and what always happens is when somebody like a Ray Black, obviously she was assaulted, the conversation or the focus tends to switch around to what was she doing, what could she have done to prevent this. And the fact of the matter is, women all across the globe, we do so many things to prevent sexual assault. All of these things that you're talking about, oh, you shouldn't have gone there, you shouldn't have worn that, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have, it makes not 1 ounce of a difference. If someone is going to assault you, they are going to assault you, and that's the bottom line. And really and truly, if this is going to change, the same way we're currently asking white people to do the work in regards to reading about racism and reading about the history of this country, men really need to talk amongst themselves to discuss what are they going to do to stop sexual violence and sexual assault. Is not on the onus isn't on women to prevent this. We've got no power in this. It is actually men, and you lot, you need to kind of like talk to your sons, talk to your brothers, talk to your uncles. Like, what conversations are you having with your male children? What conversations are you having with the men in your circle? What conversations are you having, if anything at all? What are you saying? Because, you know, I don't believe that Ambush just woke up one day and just decided, oh, look, there's a breast, let me just grab it. That way of thinking came from somewhere. So I think if men really want this to stop, you know, you guys have to have an honest conversation. You've got to, you know, stop kind of doing this thing of, oh, well, you know, it happened to somebody else's daughter or mum or sister or auntie. And rather than hang on a minute, this could potentially happen to my mum, my sister, my auntie, somebody close to me. I think there's a bit of a disconnect there, because I think people tend to think it happens over there and not within my circle. In fact, you should probably speak to the women who are close to you. Speak to them about their experiences with men and how they kind of violate. Speak to, and when I say speak to women, speak to the women in your immediate circle. Speak to your mum, speak to your auntie, speak to your sister, speak to the people that you think this potentially can happen to, because I can guarantee you, your mum's probably got stories, your aunt's probably got stories, even your daughters. And I know that sounds quite horrible to you guys. I know 2 of you got daughters, but potentially they could potentially have stories already at their young age.
Lala, I think people have got my point misconstrued. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see what we're discussing here, and I agree with what everybody from the chat has said. I think my point is the here and now, yeah? The right here and the right now. Yeah, you or all of us cannot affect what people that we don't know are going to do tomorrow, but I can affect what my child does right now. So when I say, or when I said, if you're continuously going to that place where you're putting yourself in, or you're going to be in physical harm, and I'm not even talking about sexually right now. There's clubs all over the country that we know that's just a gunman club. Do you know what I mean? If you go there and gunshots pop off, the question is, you understand what I'm saying? So my statement was, for me to affect the here and now, I have to do what I can to protect the people around me. Yeah, I can have a conversation. I can have a conversation like we're doing now with all of the young men within our circle to educate them. But as well as doing that, I need to have a conversation with my daughter. I need to have a conversation with you, Lala, and Cheryl, and Aish, and all the other females that are in my family, that are in my direct life, to let them know, like, listen, it's dangerous out there, isn't it? Even that, it's dangerous out there. I can't tell you it's dangerous out there or be careful, and you tell me, well, I'm a woman, I should be able to go where I want. No way. Like, no, the world's not like that. That's the reality.
I hear what you're saying, Dee. What I'm saying is, I hear you totally. Your job as a father is to make sure, first and foremost, that your child is protected. And any way that you can do that, you're going to do that. So if that means you telling your daughter, You know this place is dangerous, so don't go there. What I'm saying to you is you can actually follow up on that and make sure as a community of men, okay, we know that this club is a problem. What are we going to do? What tends to happen is you tell your daughters, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. But the problem is still there. Nobody addresses the actual problem. And that's my problem, because that means that your daughter is now limited. We have to keep limiting ourselves every minute because this problem still exists. Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And
So
even
when you
like
say,
some of the
when you
stories
say
we're
the
hearing,
problem,
sorry,
Go on.
quickly, some of the stories we're hearing, it's not like people in a dingy nightclub. These are people that are at industry events. One girl's at work in a studio. Do you know what I'm saying? These are not like putting, oh, she's not walking down a dark alley. This is like people just being at work. The girl, like I said, the girl that well, I don't want to go into that case, but she said she was in a tracksuit at work in a studio and got violated. Like, so it's not even just like protect yourself and don't go to this place or don't wear that, because it's still happening.
What you lot are saying is right, and what Lala is saying is absolutely correct. And other comments within that in the chat group. But this is the thing, yeah, and this is where I can't sit back and wait for that, is because I'm like parents raise children.
Why don't you take the initiative? Have you lobbied your MP? Have you contacted the club? Who have you spoken to? What have you done? Have you just told them not to go and then not?
No. Because there was a section. I think there was a section that you might have missed, Lala, when we spoke about being more proactive within the club, like DJs being more active, security, bouncers being more active, clubs taking more of a stand against it. Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody has, look, whatever problems the world has, there's not one answer for that. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a combination of various different things, various different people coming together. But you know, it is worrying. But you are right. At the end of the day, these young people have seen this behavior from somewhere or from some people. And I've put a lot of things on the music industry, music videos, lyrics. There's a lot that the music industry and even film and television has to be responsible for. They have to be.
Fam,
Like,
we could go we can go back as far as Kiss Chase, bro. You can go back that far. Like, if you really think about it, like, think about the game of Kiss Chase. You're running around chasing.
I don't think they do them thing there in school.
I'm just saying.
They banned that.
I'm just saying it happened when I was in school. So
I
like,
was the Don Donna at that game still.
Oh my God.
So my point is, like, these.
Was it wrong though? Was it wrong? It sounds really when you think about it, it is wrong though.
Even the name Kiss Chase.
Kiss but let's have it right. Let's have it right. You was only running after who you like, really, innit? Certain. Let me not.
She was running. That's the thing. That's the main thing. She weren't trying.
No, but this is the thing.
Sometimes you did it in reverse, though. No.
Nah.
What?
I didn't play it.
I was chasing
When the boys had to run. Yeah.
Still a violation.
Wait, me? Did you not go to an all-boys school though?
Yeah, but you don't. I didn't play. Listen. I played Chris Chase in primary school. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I'll openly say that sounds like you can't play that game in secondary school. That sounds like, how can you play that in secondary school? That just doesn't seem right to me.
Ace, look, there's a lot of things. There's a hell of a lot of things that are influencing young people. A hell of a lot of things. And even now, even with this ambush thing, yeah, have you heard his voice note after he right? So with that, yeah, and he even explains his attitude to when he was talking to Ray Black when she was getting at him, and what I liked about it is that he said, I took time to speak to other people around me so I could get various different opinions rather than just clapping back straight away. That I liked. Do you know what I mean? So clearly you've spoken to people that are like, yo, is this wrong?
Damon, even that response he gave was not credible.
Look, but this is the thing, Femi. This is the thing. That response isn't credible to you. It might be credible to somebody else, but this is the thing. It's a start. What I'm not happy with is expecting everybody to be perfect tomorrow. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But he didn't have to come back with that, you know. He really didn't. Do you remember?
Trust me, he did.
No, listen to what I'm saying.
He really did.
No,
Trust me, he did.
Listen to what I'm saying. As a human, do you remember when all of them tweets were coming back? All of them old school tweets were coming out. Do you remember Fredo's response?
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Fredo's response was, listen, this is what I do. I'm a bad man. Shut up. Like that's what his response was.
Yeah, but
So
it's different when it comes to sexual allegations.
And
No,
their brands are kind of different. Their brands are like.
What I'm saying to you, yeah, is everybody has a choice to respond or not respond. The fact that he responded, it might not be to your level, but it's a start, bruv. And
No,
that was
Damon. The fact that I'll be honest, yeah, the response he gave today was so weird to me. It's like man can't just apologize and say, yeah, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, keep it moving.
Did he apologize again today?
Yeah, he sent a video, but then a voice note, but the voice note was basically like, oh yeah, I'm really sorry, blah, blah, blah. I've spoken to a lot of people, I'm trying to change, I made a mistake,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. But then he started trying to say, he started trying to downplay what he did, like, I didn't even grab a breast, I brushed past it, or...
Yeah, he did. He tried to say it wasn't like an intentional, yeah.
He tried to make out like he just brushed past it by accident.
Well, then you know what?
This is the problem. It's like, for me, if you're gonna apologize, you're sorry or you're not.
Yeah.
And the thing with apologies, what I've noticed, there's this thing that the minute you start with, oh, if I offended anyone, you did offend people, which is why you're in this situation now. The fact that you're saying, if I offended anyone, lets me know that you're not actually sorry. Either you're sorry and you know what you're sorry for, so apologize for that and keep it moving. But I keep hearing all these excuses as to why, and I was in this place, and I don't care. Accept responsibility and apologize and make sure it doesn't happen again.
You know what? I have this theory, yeah? Sorry, Lala. I have this theory that when someone says I apologize, they're just doing it because they think it's the right thing to do. But when they say sorry, they kind of mean it a little bit more. And that's just me personally.
He said both, Lee.
Did he say sorry?
Yeah, he said all of that. But the main thing is that you then don't start saying pouring smoke on the girl's story.
Yeah, of
again.
Course.
So imagine I'm saying
going on.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry for breaking your foot, but true, I didn't really break your foot still. Like I just tapped it with my foot. And obviously, man's sorry though. But like obviously, if you didn't have your foot there in the first place, that I was just telling your foot. Look,
do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I felt like when he was talking on the voice notes, when he was addressing it like they had history, like they'd known each other for years. And he was like, well, how can you not? And I was thinking to myself, that when it heard he only knew her for one day.
He met her once before.
He met her
once.
Yeah.
Like, but he was talking as if, right, what? We go back, like, we do this all the time. Like, you squeeze my bum, I squeeze your breast kind. It was almost like that kind of like attitude he had in the voice note. I don't know. Look, I'm not a judge. I'm not a barrister, but that's what I kind of felt, how he was talking. And that's why I felt like she switched. She was like, well, hold on a minute. No. You don't know me like this. You don't know me like that. Nothing more to say after that.
There you go. So I mean, what do we do moving forward? Because again, like Lala said, like there's conversations that need to be had amongst us, like here as elders, to the youths. Like
we just have to, like when you're talking to a man, and like for example, if you're seeing a young brother and he's showing interest in females or vice versa, you just let them know the implications. Like when I speak to my missus' little brother, I always say have respect. Like, do you get what I'm saying? And I always say that if he asks me questions, I'll always say like, it's always got to be on her terms. Forget your terms. It's always got to be on her terms.
Listen,
if you're ever thinking about something,
you can't be talking to your daughters and you're not talking to your sons.
Straight.
That's like. Do you remember the incident with Anthony Joshua when he said something in regards to you know, allowing his son to just kind of just, you know, play the field when he gets older, but his niece, she ain't allowed all of that.
Mm.
This is the type of thing that we are talking about. You're setting your sons up for failure if that's the kind of level that you guys are talking to your sons on. Because the same way he wouldn't want anyone's son to violate his niece, he's more or less giving the green light to his son. And this is, I know you lot are probably thinking, nah, AJ's cool, he's a nice person. I'm sure he is, but that kind of thinking, all it does is feed into the existing culture that we currently have. So you cannot be telling us, protect yourself, but you've got a bunch of boys or sons out there who just think it's okay to do what they want with women because, you know, it's the rite of passage and they're allowed to because their dads have told them that it's okay. What kind of nonsense is that?
It is. Lala, people have said in the group, yeah, it will take systemic change, including law, legislation, education for men, and widespread counseling access for women who have dealt with this terrible abuse. And then obviously it's like use your voices on platforms to let it be known you're against this type of behavior. Lots of men, like we should talk about this as the man them as well, but lots of men move like they have the backing of other men.
Yes.
Because I've had a lot, I'll be real, I've had a few conversations with not you, man, but a few other men that are like, nah, Ray shouldn't have done that still. Ray
do you know what I was thinking?
Done that.
Do you know what's really interesting? I've had some women say this as well, that, you know, if she was really upset about it, why didn't she go to the police? Why didn't she say something? And it's interesting to me that people are more fearful of being publicly shamed on social media than they are about the threat of being told about sexually assaulting somebody to the police.
I think it's the court of public opinion, though, isn't it? Because once it hits Twitter, you're guilty
of that. Then the actual police knocking at your door saying that somebody has reported you for sexual assault. If people are if these guys were so afraid of the police, yeah, sexual assault cases would be a lot, you know, a lot. There would be a lot less. Yeah. Basically, they don't have any fear for that, but apparently, the minute you start speaking out or sending lists or all of that, all of a sudden it's, oh, no, it's too much. It's too much. You're going to ruin man's career. Did that man think about the career of the person who he assaulted? That's probably what these women are thinking now. They're probably like, we're at a point now where we actually don't care, because if we do report sexual assault, the police don't take it seriously anyway. All last week, all you black men were marching up and down Trafalgar Square and Parliament Square screaming Black Lives Matter, because we know historically police don't take you know, the crimes against black people seriously. So if a black woman goes to the police to talk about her sexual assault, do you think they take that seriously? So why should we go to the police when we know you're more fearful of what's going to happen if I release certain names on social media?
Okay, let's talk about this list. Like, I don't know where this list has come from. Like, I don't know who made this list. And not everyone on this list has had, like, the same sort of evidence or, like, people coming forward. What do you think about this list, Lala?
I don't agree with the list, but I fully understand why the list exists. Like I said, I feel like women are exasperated with the way that sexual assault is dealt with and how people don't take it seriously. Like I said, the police don't take it seriously, and if you speak about it, you're called all kinds of hoes and what have you. Your story is doubted, you know, not just from men, from women as well. So I think for a lot of women, it's probably their last line of defense. So I think when you've been violated in such a way, some people probably get to the point where it's like, fuck it, I don't care if your life is ruined over this. I'm just going to put your name out, and that's where.
You know what? I had a woman in the shop about a year ago, and what she said shocked the barber shop. So she goes, so he's talking about a lot of women that claim sexual assault and rape falsely, yeah, and which obviously we know happens. And she turned around and said she doesn't actually care. And the reason she doesn't actually care is because for the amount of men that don't get prosecuted, or the case gets thrown out of court because of lack of evidence or whatever reason, or they get found not guilty, doesn't actually mean they didn't do it. So her attitude was, if some innocent men have to go to jail to balance up the scales for those that they don't get convicted, then so be it.
No, that's not fair though. That's not fair either though.
I don't agree with that.
No, that's wrong, man.
Of course. So that caused uproar. But what that did kind of raise was, should people's names be out in the public eye before it even goes to court, let alone there be a verdict in court? Because as a man, if you get hit with that, like we was talking about this I don't know if we were talking about in the last podcast or before the last podcast, anyone's name could get thrown on there for various different reasons. And my attitude with these things is, if I'm not wrong, then I don't care. I'm arguing it out. But the reality is, if my name gets on there, A, that shagged my name as an individual, B, that shagged my name as a barber, and C, that shagged the whole of Cut the Chat, irrespective of whether it's right or wrong. So even what Femi was saying about this list, A, where did it come from, and should people stay anonymous until there's a guilty verdict or an innocent verdict?
Yeah, are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. No, I agree with that. I think that both the person who is the victim and the person that's been accused, I think they should both be made anonymous. Rape cases are really hard to prove. It's always, generally speaking, it's always one person's word against the other, which makes it hard to prove, because then it's left to a jury to decide, okay, is she lying or is he lying, especially if there's no camera footage or anything like that, which is why a lot of them kind of cases, they collapse. So I just think anonymity should be placed on these cases, because if a man's name is released and he didn't do it, people always have that, that doubt in their head, like, there's no smoke without fire for the most part. And I think the reason for that is sexual assault cases are so frequent and so rife that people just think he must be guilty.
Ace, can we bring on Cheryl?
Is she there?
We can't hear you. You're on mute.
I've just sent her the link, so she's coming.
All right, cool.
There you go. Yeah, I'd like to hear about the like whether or not she thinks. Here she is. Hold on one sec.
I mean, let's do the legal side. Is pinching your bum illegal? Is it illegal to pinch a bum? Is it illegal to grab a man's tits? Let's get
the legal side of it.
Yeah, we need to get the legal perspective on all of this. Even the list, is that list even legal?
That's true.
Cheryl, you need to unmute yourself.
Cheryl, unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi, Shez.
Okay, let me just change my that's it. Oh, I need to do my video. Okay.
Yes.
Hey.
There you go.
Hello.
You're such an auntie.
I need to do video. Two girls at a mic.
Actually, I'm an auntie. I actually am. It's really, really bad.
No, Cheryl, we need to start this, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, where do you want to join us? Which bit do you want to join us on?
The bit that I heard you saying was whether it was illegal.
All right, let's start. Let's start with where this started from, yeah?
Okay.
This list. There's a list of men doing the rounds on social media.
Yeah.
Some of them are famous, some of them are not. Some of them are social media influencers
Right.
that have apparently exhibited, they've either raped people or exhibited predatory behavior.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And what is that? What do you legally? What I have a problem with that list, because it's like there's just a list of these men, nothing just out there on social media.
I mean, one of the things about the list is that it's unconfirmed at present, isn't it? So everyone's names that are on it it's unconfirmed. And if you are passing it around as a list, as the truth of the matter, so to say that these people are definitely sexual abusers or have engaged in sexual impropriety, then obviously there are issues there around defaming somebody's character. But so it depends on who's put that list together and people disseminating that list. So there are definitely issues in that sense, but I don't think, is there a source of who's put together the list and then who's disseminating the list?
No, all that's happened is that there's a list exists.
Yeah, so I don't think, I mean, that would be the difficulty. And also, that's not my area of law, but the one thing I'm thinking about is it public enough in terms of it going around to people and people asking for the list, and the list exists? And I know some people have seen the list. I haven't seen the list, but does that amount to like publishing it and stuff like that? I don't know.
Femi was also asking like what counts as sexual assault.
Where does it begin?
Where does it begin? Yeah.
Bomb. Like where does it begin?
Yeah, that is. So a sexual assault, sexual touching, for example, under Section 3 of the Sexual Offences Act, can be touching somebody on their bum. Touching.
Well, if I approach a young lady for a wine in a club and it's unsolicited, but there was an approach and there was a bit of physical contact.
A bit.
Yeah, I mean,
well, no, like Lee, show them.
Hey.
I don't even want to see when Lee's gonna.
Lee, show them you've gone in for the wine, but she didn't ask you, and you've just tried, and it's unsolicited.
It kind of.
I feel like these are things that we need to know, innit? We need to know.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, because the point of a sexual assault or sexual touching in circumstances where the touching is sexual. So that's part of what one has to prove in terms of those kinds of offences.
So you can get done then. So if you was in a club and you was whining and I came behind you and whined on you and you didn't want it, that's a sexual assault.
Wow, it's getting sticky.
That's the kind of scenario you would be in.
Was the touching, answer the question, was the touching sexual? Or was actually the touching, would the general public or would a bystander see actually that touch?
100%, because they probably definitely think that, because that's how we do it in the rub club.
Then you're contradicting yourself.
I'm talking about.
If you're saying that that's how you do it, i.e. the dance, then the touching in your mind or in the person's mind was perhaps not sexual, but was pursuant to trying to dance with somebody.
Yeah, so but I'm saying
there might be a defining line there, a dividing line.
Okay, if for example I was at Carnival, yeah, and Lala was in her outfit doing her thing, and I came behind her and thought, right, I want to get a dance, and she looked at me and said, no, excuse me.
Scenarios not ready.
Other people might see that and think, nah, the dance is something that it's not. Do you get what I'm saying?
Are you asking? Wait,
I don't understand what you're asking me, Lee.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, is that a sexual assault? If she's dancing,
yeah,
and I come to dance with her, and then she pushes me away and says, nah, sorry, is that a sexual assault?
But didn't you just ask this? You just changed the venue from a club to Carnival.
I'm just giving you an example. Sorry, I'm giving you an example of why you would do why you dance on someone.
Forget all of that. Cheryl. So we all know about that dance, daggering. Yeah, we know the motion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Lee's trying to get to that. So if
why didn't he just say that?
No, I was but I wasn't. Honestly, I wasn't even trying to go down that way, because that to me is, I don't do that. That's not my type of dance. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
I would say I am, you know what I'm saying? I've grown up dancing, like seeing dances where you dance with a female and it does look sexual, but it's a dance.
Yeah, you mean
other people might look at it and think, oh no, it's more than what it is. But it's never been more than what it is. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It was just a dance.
That's what I'm saying. You're answering the question. It's never more than what it is. So when you're approaching somebody in that sense, in your mind, the touching of that person, the touching of that woman is not sexual. In your mind, the touching of that woman is pursuant to you dancing, and the dance is a particular way. So there is going to be some scope for perhaps somebody to say, that was not my intention. I wasn't touching her sexually. I was touching her pursuant to this dance, and that would be a point.
Okay.
Okay. But if you're just talking about the bit that I heard before I came on was touching somebody's bum, if you touch somebody's bum unsolicited, then I think we would all construe that slightly sexual touching. Do you see what I mean? Because it's not in the realms. And I'm not saying that a dance would not be viewed in that way. I'm just saying that I can see both sides of the argument. I can see how somebody would, for example, run a defense and say it had nothing to do with a sexual touch. It was more because this is how one dances in my culture. And she was, she's in the dance and we're dancing.
Right. Cheryl, let's forget all of that, yeah?
Okay.
A guy touches your bum in a club.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
A random stranger, you've never seen them before.
Yeah, you're asking me like this has never happened before. Do you know how regularly that crap happens or has happened?
But is that sexual touching?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Why isn't it? Why would you even ask?
Well, I'm just making sure so that they could, like, what could happen to them if that happens?
Well, you could, if anyone were to take any note of it, I mean, it's, the unfortunate thing is that when these things happen, it kind of just, oftentimes it doesn't even become a thing, but it certainly is. Somebody can be arrested for that. You can call security over, make a complaint, get the police involved, make a complaint. That certainly is sexual touching. There's no doubt about that.
Can I just tell a story, yeah? The last time I was like what I would consider assault was last year at a known festival that Ace has played at before, but we won't talk about that.
Whoa! It's not the festival's fault. Name the festival. Why he said like that?
No, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mess up Ace's bag. But no.
What's he got to do with Ace? Ace said the person.
Don't worry, I'm just going to tell the story. So basically, I'm at this festival, minding my business, having the best time. I'm walking through the crowd, and then I feel a proper, when I say not a slap, not a rub, but a proper grab on my bum. And the grab was so ferocious that I just actually went into shock because it's a touch that you're not expecting. So I turn around and I see this guy, and the smirk that was on his face, I swear, I've never felt so angry in my life. I'm in my 40s now, and that shit is still happening to me. So the reason why a lot of women get angry as well, it's like, at my big age, why am I still having to deal with this bullshit?
Listen, I used to get angry when I was a teenager. It didn't even take me to get to a certain age to be angry. Anger as a teenager, it's a violation.
And there are people around me, women, guys, women, like there were guys around him and they just looked like, what's the problem? So this is what we're dealing with here. So when I'm talking about this culture that we need to kind of sort out, I'm telling you now, men, if you don't grab hold of your boys from young and teach them to respect women, this is what's going to happen. They'll come across the wrong woman one day. She's just going to be like, I fucking had this shit.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Someone in the group.
That's have a list.
Someone in the chat. Cheryl, sorry, Lala, sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry.
Someone in the chat said, is unwanted sexual looks a form of sexual harassment?
No.
Well, actually, no, it can be though.
Really?
It can, harassment. If you pursue a course of conduct that amounts to harassment, and that it could be that could be part and parcel of it. It's not like somebody just does it once to you, and that is enough to fulfill a test of harassment. But that may all be, if that forms part and parcel of, a chain of conduct towards a person. Then somebody could cite that, but it's not of itself freestanding. Somebody looks at you in a way that might be seen as, one person might say it's lecherous, one person might say it's admiring. That on its own is not sexual harassment, but people should not just try to fit these things into a legal framework. Do you know what I mean? So if I'm not saying this about the person who's asked, but if there is a thought in your mind that looking at a woman in a particular way is harassment, like social harassment, I mean, why would you do it? Like, just don't. It's like, just refrain. It's kind of easy, really, whether or not it amounts to a criminal offence. And just like Lee was asking, and we were talking about sexual touching, I think I might have said section 2, section 3 of the Sexual Offences Act. It all depends. Part of it does depend on what the person's intention is. And I think that's the thing that one has to have in mind, because, you know, when we're talking about like legal offences and all of this sort of stuff, one of the big parts of it is certainly what does the person have in mind. So a lot of these conversations need to center just around personal responsibility, to be honest with you. I think guys need to really take a lot more personal responsibility and collective personal responsibility for themselves and for their guys about stuff that they're doing when they're out. It's kind of simple, because I think there's not as much as women doing it the opposite way around. I know you see on, you know, when people bring up these conversations, people also talk about, oh, women do stuff, and that's true, but it's not I don't think it's as prevalent the opposite way around. So I think it's right that we should be able to start saying, as a blanket statement, even though we don't mean all men, you need to chat to each other and kind of stop all of this stuff.
Cyril, Lala, do you think that schools and the government need to do more, or should it just be down to parents and males within society?
Honestly, I think it's a collective effort. And like I said, what I was saying earlier in regards to us as a community of people, like, do we do enough kind of like holding, you know, our government, our MPs like accountable? Do we actually lobby and say, look, we're not happy with this current situation, we need to fix this issue because it's affecting our kids? Like, how much of that do we actually do? I mean, even like I said, with the Black Lives Matter movement, even now, it's taken the death of somebody for us to actually get up and go outside and protest, when really and truly what we should have been doing all along is being a little bit more proactive and making sure that the people that we put in power are actually doing the job that we're paying them to do, and we don't do that. So we leave it till it's too late, until, you know, disastrous things like this happen. And it's the same with sexual assault. How many petitions do we sign in regards to making sure that, you know, when people are being convicted for rape, they get a significant amount of time in prison? Like, just basic things like that. How much time do we actually spend focusing on these things? Hardly any.
But do you think that, you know, as somebody commented, schools teach us about sex education, about, you know, all various different parts to sex, but I haven't spoken to anyone in school for a very long time, so I don't know if they teach about this kind of stuff within the school system. Should they not have classes or bits of sex education or whatever it is where they're talking about?
They actually do.
I don't know.
If they're talking, if schools are teaching about sex, why are they not teaching about consent? Consent is a major part of sex, and that's where this problem comes into, because everything is about consent and personal responsibility, like the actions that you're actually carrying out. So if they're talking,
but let me just throw this out here, yeah. But because I do understand a lot. For me, I find a lot of this stuff a bit confusing myself, because I think sometimes, like, I'll give you a scenario. I've been out with a friend and he's chatting to a girl, and she's not feeling him, but he's not getting it. He just don't get it. So he thinks, not saying, but he thinks he's flirting, but he's obviously annoying the person. Do you get what I'm saying? So some people just don't get it. They just don't have that kind of rapport. They can't read people. yeah, socially, they just make me socially a little bit awkward. And I can't be the only one that say that they're seeing someone chatting to someone and you think, bro, allow it. Allow it. And they're like, nah, man, they're feeding me, trust me. And you're like, allow it, bro. And it could be vice versa. Do you get what I'm saying?
You can't mistake, no, I'm not interested. If you mistake, no, I'm not interested, you shouldn't be in the club. And then I suppose,
Damon,
but it might not be a direct cut off though. It might not be a direct cut off. It might just be a conversation that's going nowhere.
Damon.
Yeah, but that's different though. Go on for me.
No, then Lee.
Pardon?
That's a no. Then if the conversation's going nowhere, why? Are you
But some people, do you know why? But you know why? Let's put it this way. I've been in a situation where I'm talking to someone, they're not interested, and then eventually they start laughing, and then all of a sudden they're interested.
You mean you berated them so much to the point they've just given up? Is that what you
No, but not even just that though. But sometimes some people are just not interested at first glance,
Well,
and then
when
after a
someone's not
while,
interested, when do you just stop? Like that sounds mad annoying. Someone's talking to you, you're not interested. You're talking to someone, they're not interested. Why are you continuing?
do you know why?
Some man like the thrill of the chase. Some man like the chase.
Let me just make this point.
Go on.
Let me just make this point, because this is where it turns into something that Lara and I were talking about on our podcast. And obviously, Lee, I'm not saying it to you. I'm just saying in the terms of general things. This is where it turns into, is there a general lack of disrespect for women? Because you're talking to a woman, she's not interested.
Yeah.
Stop. In any other circumstance, let me just posit a few examples to you.
Yeah, go on.
You're talking to someone in Sainsbury's. You're asking them where the beans are. They're not interested. They walk off. They're rude. Are you going to keep begging it about this and that?
No.
You meet some dude on the street. You want to ask him, oh, where are those crepes from? He gives you airtime. He's not even, are you going to run after him and keep begging it? No, but where those, you're not going to do it. But then when it's women, you're talking. The girl is giving you airtime. She doesn't want to know.
Yeah.
Let me continue. There's a certain level of entitlement and disrespect going on there.
Is it disrespect though, Shell? Because
disrespectful.
let me give you my scenario. For example, I used to hang around with a guy that girls used to love straight off the bat. They were very interested in straight away. Do you get what I'm saying? So if I tried to chat to them, they'd probably be like, well, I kind of like your friend. But I knew I had more personality than him. So what had happened is after a little bit of conversation, they've kind of swung around and thought, you know what, actually, I kind of do like you. Do you get what I'm saying? And that was just, is it persistent?
During that little bit of conversation,
was
they being like, I don't want to talk. Because
I have been in a situation where someone's completely not interested, and then eventually they're like, you know what, actually, and then it's like, but then I get my back up, like, well, hold on a minute ago you weren't interested. You know what I'm saying?
That eventually sad times, man. I could never.
Is it childish? Is it childish?
It's not childish. I said it's sad times. Imagine me, a whole person. I'm chatting to a man, and it takes an eventually. My ego's too big for that. No. I couldn't do eventually. You lot are good. I could do eventually.
Cheryl, as you and Lee are talking, I remember this conversation that we had in the barbershop. There was a guy chatting to a girl, and he asked her, he's chatting her up. After a couple of minutes or however long, he said to her, have you got a man? She said yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation's come to a swift end. Yeah. And this has happened more than once. This is why I feel that this is relevant. This has happened a lot. The conversation's come to a swift end. As time's gone on, there's been a conversation, and he's found out that the girl's like, oh, your brethren's a bit of a waste, man. She's like, why go on? It's like, why did you stop chatting to me? Because you said you had a man. I didn't say no though.
Wow.
But I've heard this a lot. Like, I think somebody said it earlier. I don't know if it was Lee or Ace said it earlier, that there is this thing that there is a fine line between playing the game, wanting the chase, wanting to be pursued, and nah, shut up because you're annoying me. And I kind of agree with Lee. Sometimes men don't get it. You understand? Like there is this game, there is this cat and mouse, there is this, I've got to drop some lyrics. Do you know what I mean? I know that there's people that go out and it's just like, I need to air him for a little bit, treat him mean, keep him keen kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this does go on in the club and in the bar. So
Yeah.
But with that particular scenario,
Can I just drop another example in,
what
Lark?
they're
Can I just
supposed
drop
to do?
another example in to Damon to factor in as well, of why it really gets sticky? Sorry to cut across you, but just that it might be relevant here is that, you know, sometimes when guys are like approaching and making an approach to a woman, there's actually a fear factor of the woman being a hard no because of how the guy may then react to that. So that's the only reason why I just say that everybody needs to just be a little more careful and a little more mindful, because there are so many layers to the interactions between us nowadays, whereby a woman will say she's not interested, and then, you know, the guy, I think there was some story of a guy went to box her.
The guy hit the girl with a skateboard recently. That video went viral, and there was another guy that threw a girl in the bin. Yeah.
So there's the, you know, there's the treat him mean, keep him keen, but there's also the I mean, I'm talking to her. I'm like, guys need to start thinking about the reaction that they're getting from women, because women, I mean, I think it's just becoming more and more apparent to me, just from speaking to women, listening to women, from what women write. Women are inherently scared of men. Okay? Men, there's a saying, something like, men are afraid that women will laugh at them. Women are afraid that men will kill them.
Wow.
And that's what we need to, that's literally, it's one part of the scenario.
Wow, that's heavy.
do you see that point there? Yeah. That for me, yeah, kind of falls in line with what I was saying earlier. And I had this conversation in the barbershop, and I'm glad you said that, Show, because this is my reality of things, and it might sound chauvinistic. And you know what? Like, I was thinking about this throughout the podcast, and as I said before, it's my job to do what I can to protect the females around. The reality is, if there's a girl in a room with me, you cannot do anything. That's the reality. If there's a girl in the room with two guys, you can't do anything. I'm not talking about you have the right to be here or be there and say no. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. Like, the bare facts is, there's very few females that can do me anything. You understand what I'm saying? So that right there, that's just the harsh reality. Females fear that a man's gonna kill them, and men fear that we're gonna be laughed at and made a mockery of. And when that happens, I've seen men react in the most craziest of ways, like, rude boy, what wrong for you? Like, but then it goes back to kind of what we were saying at the beginning of this conversation, or in the middle of this conversation, about men aren't fearful of being spoken to by the police anymore. Men are fearful of being outed on Twitter and on social media and made a laughing stock, or just, you not even necessarily a laughing stock with this situation, but just made to be like, oh, you're that guy. Men, yeah, you're right. And it's bad, but this is where it's at.
Yeah.
This is
What
where
do,
it's at.
boys? What are you gonna do?
Say that again.
You can talk about, you know, the problems all day long, but really and truly, we need to really focus on solutions, because we're going to see more videos of girls being thrown in dumpsters, more videos of girls having skateboards smashed into their faces. Like, what can we do? Because, you know, as much as I'm saying, oh, men, like, I don't want to see any more young boys doing that, because, you know, in another way, that really breaks my heart. I'm like, at what point did you get to for you to feel like that is okay? You know, I don't believe Ambush woke up and just decided he was going to do what he did to Ray Black. Like, there was a point somewhere where his attitude changed. So what do we do?
You know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's us. Firstly, as men, but secondly, as a wider society, condoning this behavior. To me, this is no different to raising young criminals. Yeah, and we've said it before on podcasts. We glorify criminals too much, to the point where we make it out like it's cool. Like, my man over there, He's
Right?
doing his thing. What does that even mean? He's doing his thing. My man over there, he's a bad man shotter. Why are we not talking about Cheryl, who's the solicitor, Lala, who's a fitness instructor, all of these people that have got that.
Barrister Damon, sorry.
Sorry,
It's
Cheryl.
different.
In it, in it. Don't undermine
No, it
the.
is different.
Understand?
I'm also a
Mad.
personal trainer.
Mad. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's the same kind of thing. Like, you're right. At some point, they've seen this behavior condoned. They've seen this behavior actually celebrated. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've seen their elders behaving like this and being and being egged on and laughed at and spudded and high-fived and all of this kind of madness. So, and it's from yes men, and we have to kind of put a stop to it and understand that young people are watching us and watching our behavior every day. Do you know what I mean? Like we have to take, and this is what I was saying in one of the podcasts before, about we either have to walk the walk or surround ourselves with people that are actually promoting the same things that we believe. Like you can't be surrounded by people that behave like this and think it's, do you know what I mean? And let them slide. Like, it can't happen. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make any sense.
It's become cultural now. That's the difficulty. And when I say cultural, I don't mean specific to Black people at all. I mean cultural in the sense of almost like rape culture, if you like, is another pop culture, because it's a popular thing that is pervasive everywhere. And that's why I describe it like that, because when I've been like reading Twitter, so just today there was some women that were tweeting about some guy, I think he's in Canada, and I think it's within the gaming world, and he has been outed as sexually abusing and raping a number of women, and a number of other women were like, oh my God, I feel so sick because I didn't know this was happening. And it's almost like my friendship with this guy was giving him a cloak of
protection,
of as though he's a decent guy. So I've read it in the gaming world. We know about it in the film world. We're hearing about it in the music world. I'm sure there are so many other, we've heard about it in the sporting world. There are so many distinct areas that it's going on, that we have to accept that actually it has become prevalent and pervasive. And if we start from that point, then we can't just be giving people the benefit of the doubt or saying we're just going to surround ourselves with people who are doing the right thing, because it's clear now that there are so many people out there that think that's okay. They may not go as far as to think it's the right thing, but they think it's okay. So it's actually being proactive about it. It's actually being vocal about the rights and wrongs of it, even when you don't see it happening. We have to make it a conversation so that women know, young girls coming up know that it's not okay. I think if we just think that we can deal with it on a case-by-case basis, and if we hear our friend was involved in it, we call him or her out, it's not going to work, because it's too pervasive for that. So we have to actually try to change the culture just by literally talking, shouting, just being really vocal about how it's not the in thing. And like Lars said, raising boys differently, talking about it in schools, having frank conversations, and nipping it in the bud at the thin end of the wedge. So like, if your friend is pushing forward on a girl, and you're in a crowded place and you're pushing forward on a girl, like, you got to pull up your boy, you got to pull up your dude. If someone is grabbing someone's bum in a club, you got to pull up your dudes, because those are the thin ends of the wedge. It gets worse from there. It's that entitlement over women's bodies. It gets worse from there.
Sorry, Femi, do you think my man was being serious?
I don't know. I just put someone in timeout for 300 seconds on the chat. They were chatting.
Because you know what it is? At one point, I was going to be like, no, let him speak if he's going to be constructive. And the reason I was going to say that, because there's people like him about.
Damon, let's explain what you were saying, so that for the people that are listening that are not live.
What happened?
There's a guy in the group
chat
here.
saying he doesn't take women seriously on this topic because there's a lot of double standards from women.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No, I think he was being serious because he actually went on to say, let's
Yeah.
talk about school teachers and young boys.
I mean, the thing is, but we're talking about two different topics, so you can't really mix. You can't bring one in to defend an argument. That doesn't really make any sense. You know what I mean?
What does it say about a person that wants to do that? What does it say about a person that is hearing this and that what their brain tells them to do is, well, what about teachers and young boys?
Absolutely, that's what people in the chat have been saying as well.
Yeah.
Is that how can you?
When people start doing them things, the water battery nonsense, it's just a deflecting technique. Like, if you think about it once again, why don't you go and lobby and start a petition?
Do your own podcast.
None of that. You want to
Do
compare
your own podcast, fam, and do this episode if you care so much. But one thing I can bet you and win, you wasn't thinking about teachers and young boys yesterday. It's not even on your heart. You're just literally only saying it because we're talking about this subject. You're looking suspect, man.
Funny Tommy said that's like the All Lives Matter version of.
That is exactly what it is.
Oh dear.
There's no hot nonsense.
Get out.
Get out like that.
Look, I mean, yes, I think that the bottom line is, men, we need to do more. We need to do a lot more. We all need to do a lot more and stay doing more.
Damon, and it will be so, I'm telling you, it will be so, even though like women maybe don't speak about these things in front of guys, I'm telling you, it will be so appreciated, you know. It will be so appreciated.
Absolutely.
Like, how many times do I have to go to, I haven't been in a club for ages, not just because of lockdown. And then someone's chatting to you and you're just like, you know, I don't even want to react because I'm like, oh, if I react and my voice is not in the right way, I don't want to get a kick or a punch. So I have to say, oh no, that's my boyfriend there.
Who was it that cussed the man about his dry lips? Was it Cheryl?
That's legal.
Me and Ace was present. Ace was present. She said that he's dying of dehydration.
So what we're not gonna do is exaggerate. I was worried about him. You lot saw I was slightly wavy, and his lips. Tell the truth about his lips, please, Lee.
Crispy.
They were crispy, but like I said, you highlighted that.
No,
so he was being really nice to you.
I highlighted it. Can I just say, firstly, I was in drink, and secondly, you may not have noticed. I was actually worried.
Cheryl, okay, we've already spoken about that in this podcast. Being in drink is not an excuse.
I know. But what I said to him, I just want it to be clear to people who may be listening, and I don't want my character misrepresented. I didn't say it in a horrible way. I actually said, oh my gosh, you should drink more water.
Cheryl, did you, I don't know if me and Ace told you, did you hear his opening line? He got the courage to say to you, excuse me, beautiful Nubian. May I have a moment of your time?
He did not say that.
And that's when you went in.
You 100% said that. Yeah.
That's how he went. That's how we started.
But then.
And he was like, "Oh, look at your lips."
Like, no, I didn't say I didn't say I said, yuck. Oh my gosh. You know, when your lips are that dry, it means that you haven't drunk enough water. And I was drawing on personal experience when I.
Oh my goodness! All right, I think we can end the show here, guys. This has been an awesome conversation. Honestly, I think it was very necessary. Thank you to two girls in the mic for joining us. You guys doing a podcast this week?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
No, we will do one. We will do one.
Do you know what? I don't even know what day it is. I just felt like we've already done one, but yeah, we will do one. We have plans afoot. The Corona Chronicles are ongoing.
They will continue.
Can we just say we actually did one? So guys, if you want to listen, just go to iTunes or
Spotify.
SoundCloud.
And search Two Girls on the Mic. The latest episode is called Black Women Matter Too.
All right.
Wow.
Before you guys go, we go, can I just say, I feel like I haven't seen you guys for ages.
It has been a minute.
I
What? Mm.
They don't care about this family reunion.
Yeah,
I
they don't.
know, right?
Oh, no, can we say happy Windrush Day belatedly?
Absolutely.
And like that's so important. I just feel like, you know, at the moment, I just read a tweet saying Priti Patel said she's gonna pass every recommendation in the Windrush report.
I bet you want to see it.
And someone said, let's not hold our breaths.
Yeah, no. For real though, I'm not a fan.
Wow.
All right, we'll be back next Tuesday, night at 9 o'clock. Shout out to all the chat room crew as well. And consent is key. Yeah. So
Yes.
next time.
Consent is sexy as well. It is very sexy.
There you go.
Please.
I remember Black Lives Still Matter.
That's right, babe.